Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. I have been waiting for this release with so much anticipation. Bloodywood is, for me, one of the most interesting groups in metal because they're combining Indian music and instruments with really impactful lyrics and, of course, metal rage. And then, as if that wasn't enough, we're going to combine that today with baby metal, which is one of the most fun and innovative groups, bringing this Japanese kawaii metal to Indian metal. I have no idea what this is going to sound like, but it's going to be awesome. So let's get to it. This is so in your face right away. There's so much energy. And I think we've already heard both of our singers from Bloodywood just diving into it. This feels incredibly empowering. And I'm excited to get to baby metal, but I want to take a moment to go back and appreciate so much of what just happened, including a line that I absolutely love in the lyrics. I love that to begin, we're taken immediately into this like exotic land. I mean, exotic for me. Some of y'all are probably like, yeah, that's just home. I think it's really exotic. I love having these sounds blended together because I think we have a sitar in there and then just an Indian folk way of singing that isn't usually brought into metal. I think it's so beautiful to begin with that and take us just, it feels like we're going into another world. I love that driving drum. And I like the way that so far, and just in the instrumental, we have this combination of like really heavy metal, but then there are obviously like, there's some electronic elements in there, definitely a signaling of anime as well. So we're getting a really cool blend of cultures right from the get-go. Nice growl. I think it's so fascinating how this blend of some sung heavy, like edgy sung vocals and rap reminds me a little bit of Linkin Park. And of course, we've got two different singers that are taking this on. You've got Jayant, I think it's Badula, and then you have Raul Kerr, who is doing more of the rap. And Jayant in there, or Jayant? I feel like I should know this. I should know this, but I'm going back and forth now. Help me out in live premiere chat if you're there. Help me out. Is it Jayant or Jayant? Or is there a different way that I haven't thought of that it should be pronounced? His growls are put into the line so beautifully well. And you hear this wah, essentially, that opens up into it. And it's just blended into the whole melody, actually. Which I like it when growls are interspersed like that. But like right there. Oh, is that on the word fearlessly? Oh, cool. It is in Bekhauf. That's cool. Cool. I love this. I love that. Fear is a choice, but the choice is mine. It reminds me of Fear is the Mind Killer, which is one of the Bene Gesserit sayings from Dune. And I love the fact that they made more Dune videos so everybody else can appreciate that series as much as I do. So incredible. I think it's very, very inspiring. And seeing this in the song just reminded me again today that I get to choose how I get to respond to things. I know we all say that, but I think we also need to be reminded of it quite often. We have power over our own emotions. Bekhauf. That works so well to have Baby Metal come in there. Whoa. Gosh, there's so much to unpack in this so far. There's so many moments where I'm like, wow, that was so awesome. And then, wow, I was dragged into the next moment. And how can I can't pause enough to look at all of the little things that I'm really, really loving. I love the intersperse moments where you have much more drawn out, elongated vocals. Also, when you have a really long, drawn out scream, those tend to be pretty hard to produce. So that makes me have this deep appreciation for our vocalists. I think it's mostly Sue Metal's voice that I'm hearing really cut through a bunch of this. And I love this timbre that she has that is able to, even in this massive wall of sound, she is able to slice through it. It has so much focus on her voice. It really does cut through anything. Let's go back just a little bit and we'll keep going. And that moment is so good. Oh, sorry, we have to talk about that moment. It's because they essentially took one of the pitches, raised it a half step, and suddenly we had this major realization in the music, meaning that the harmony switched to major. And it also causes us a major realization emotionally. So this moment, I'll point it out in just a moment again. That moment of suddenly in Majorland is huge. This is so cool. The layers are amazing. I love that we pulled back and had this almost running super fast trap section with Baby Metal. And it was great because it was able to pull back from this huge, massive sound that we've had this whole time. So when it came back in, we got to hear that with new ears. You have to be really careful about aural fatigue when you have this much sound. Oh, there's that major thing. Sorry, I went too far back. All right, we drop a lot of the sound here. I love moments that refer to pop culture, like The Dark Knight. That's a great one. Super awesome. I can't help but resist this urge to just let my hair fly wild and windmill headbang the moment that we have this crater occur. And I think it's Raul that is in at that point. It's just, oh, it hits. It hits. It's so good. Wow, this really does feel like just an awesome anime, but, in all of the best of ways. I really dig anime too. So, anyhow, one of the things that I think is working so well is the heaviness of Bloodywood, and the way that they have these lyrics blaze by. A lot of times Bloodywood, when you listen to them, there is a certain weight to the sound. It's not just, oh, this is heavy metal kind of heavy, but rather there's an emotional weight that is dropped on you because they talk about some pretty serious stuff. Baby metal also has heavy music, but they make it really fun. That's one of the things that I just love about baby metal too, is how much fun. Like, Gimme Chocolate, I think was the first song I ever heard by baby metal. How can you go wrong with chocolate? Yes. Well, I think they have another one called Papaya. It's just so light. But at the same time, it's not just fluff, it's stuff that's inspiring. And so when you're combining this with Bloodywood, with these lyrics that have so much impact, I like the way that we're taking it and finding this middle ground of it's not just like it isn't it's definitely not fluff. It's even a little bit heavier than I've heard a lot of baby metal stuff. And we've got this really inspiring thing about facing adversity. It works for both bands extremely well. Yeah. Super impressive harshes in there. They sound so uh grueling, right? The growls are just I love how powerful his growls are. I'd be super curious how sustainable they feel because we know that the more power you have underneath a lot of different vocal techniques, it's more air pressure that's coming up underneath, and that's often causing more amplitude. So things are hitting harder. So they're instead of just like wacka wacka wacka, they're like wacka 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 or smacka 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 in case of really harsh vocals, and that can lead to more collision damage. So you've got this balance of power to achieve, but be careful you don't hurt yourself at the same time. And you can definitely work up endurance for that, which is what you see with opera singers a lot. So there's training that can lead to very, very long careers. But we don't actually know much about what training would be most helpful or perhaps even necessary for someone to have a growl like this and be able to sustain that for their entire career. It's one of the things that the Charismatic voice is actively researching. And so I'd be super curious to ask him, say like, hey, like, do you feel like you've got your growls the whole tour? Does it ever feel like you need to warm them up? Are they always there? Is there something you've done to help with that endurance over time? Because he's got brutal growls. Even some pitch in there. Descent! Terrifying monster. Huh. Oh, wow. That was a good section to have right after talking about the growls and how that power shifts. We definitely have some doubling. I'm actually really curious. I know that Moa Metal, right? Moa? Yeah. Moa has been, I think, doing some growls here and there. I'm very curious if she was layered in any of these sections so far. I didn't catch just her voice yet doing those growls. But we had definitely layered growls in this section, which is one of the ways that I think in production you can help beef up the growls even more without necessarily needing to have that extra power. But when you've got the power and the layers, ooh, super beefy. Nice lull here in the sound. I love the depictions of the different band members. I love this contrast of the very, very pure sound that we've got coming from baby metal, and then this just, gosh, what do you call it? Monstrous sound coming from Bloodywood. They've got, they work really well together, and they contrast each other so perfectly. So clean. So dirty. In a good way. That's good. I love the way, I'm going to go back a little bit here. Listen to how we've expanded the top end. It feels like we've added perhaps some more synth on top. That it basically feels like the lid of the song that we didn't even know that we had a lid on. It feels like the lid is slowly being peeled off the top end here. Right there. I think we got a double octave above. Another sound was added, I think, right there. Oh. Even in the outro, we had just a whole bunch of sounds that felt like, oh, I wanted to grab it, all of them, but then it was done. And it made me giggle because there's just so much more we could dive into in this song. I hope that you go back and you put this on repeat. This is an epically awesome song and new release. So let's listen to it over and over and over so that they do many more collaborations, please. If you'd like to see some more analyses of these bands, check out this playlist over here, and may you fall more in love with music every day.